All right, guys. So the other day we talked about Lindsey Graham and how he proposed a 15-week abortion ban in the Senate. Now, this happens at a time where the politics of abortion are not up in the air at all. Voters are just running into the Democrats' arms as a result of Roe versus Wade being overturned. And Lindsey Graham effectively was like, I don't really care. I guess he believes in this bill that he proposes, like this is his actual policy ideal, and so now he's giving it a shot. So I'm going to play the clip here for you. This is him basically doubling down. At this point, it might even be tripling down on his bill, even though he's kind of found like no allies. And here's the problem with what he did. First of all, the Democrats are, of course, all going to be against this because the framework Democrats support is Roe v. Wade. They just didn't want it overturned in the first place. But the pro-life people are not going to support him here because they think this is way too lenient. 15 weeks? They think you're killing like a 15-week-old human being at that point. So let's see what he has to say. And the Fox News host is going to kind of actually go after him here, which is very interesting to me.
Okay, this is how Politico described a top Democrat reacting to your introduction of this bill. Graham's stunt is a godsend and helps us remind voters Republicans want to ban abortion everywhere. And from the conservative side, you've got DeRoy Murdoch over at American Spectator. He said, basically, you've handed the left a box of grenades.
Okay, well, let me just say what I believe. Number one, I'm pro-life, even in an election year. And to those who suggest that being pro-life is losing politics, I reject that.
So, okay, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you reject that or you accept that. It's a fact. This is something that's borne out by all the polling data. And by the way, it's not even close. So even if you say like, oh, but what about the margin of error or anything? It doesn't matter. The numbers are so lopsided in favor of the Democratic position that, you know, it doesn't matter if you accept it or reject it or anything. It is not a winning perspective. It's not. Now, on the one hand, you can say, hey, man, credit, because at least you're principled and you really believe in it, right? But he's also changed his line. Like, he used to propose abortion bans that were like 20 weeks, and now he pushed it back to 15 weeks. So it's like, okay, well, wait, are you principled? Which one do you actually believe in? And is 15 just the Trojan horse because you really believe in a 6-week abortion ban? Or are you with the psychos who say, like, literally 0 abortions ever, even if there's rape or incest or the life of the mother is in danger, or what? What's your real position here?
So listen to what I'm saying, and you decide today who you're with. Chuck Schumer introduced legislation several months ago that would allow abortion on demand up to the moment of birth, like China and North Korea, for the entire nation. What did I do in response? I said at 15 weeks, when the baby can feel pain, it sucks its thumbs, that we're going to ban abortion except in the cases of rape, incest, life of the mother. We're talking almost 4 months into the pregnancy. It puts us in line with France is at 12 weeks. Germany, England is at 14 weeks. Only in Washington is it extreme to protect the baby at 15 weeks from an excruciating death.
Okay, that's not true, by the way. So the law in France says after that line, you leave it up to the mother, basically, and say, if your physical health is in danger, not just in imminent danger of death, but just in danger in general, you can get an abortion. But even if your psychological health is in danger, it is the mother's choice. So basically what they do is after that line, they say, look, we're past the line. Are you sure? Take this decision seriously. And then if they say yes, they get the abortion. So what he's saying here is not even factually accurate. On paper, it's one thing, but in practice, it's something totally different. And by the way, the real Democratic position is what? We wish Roe versus Wade wasn't overturned at all, and that framework stayed in place. Now, what is Roe versus Wade? Because a lot of people don't know the specifics of Roe versus Wade. And Casey, Planned Parenthood versus Casey, which is the case that came after that, which updated the standard. But the way it worked is they set up this trimester standard, which is in the first trimester, it is 100% the right of the woman. In the second trimester, there can be some health regulations around abortion. And then in the third trimester, if states so choose, they can ban late-term abortion. That's Roe versus Wade. So Roe versus Wade is a moderate framework. And that is the Democratic position. Now, Casey changed that a little bit to, instead of a trimester standard, they go by fetal viability. So it's basically you're right up until fetal viability, and then they could do health regulations or ban it post-viability. I think that's the correct standard. I think that's the way it should be done. Now, I'd be in favor of, a federal law that implements Roe versus Wade and doesn't give wiggle room to the states to crack down harsher, right? But I think that's the right standard. And that's what the American people agree with. All the polls show that. And so what he's doing here is not popular. It's not. It's just not popular. And what's interesting is you now have people on the right saying Lindsey Graham is trying to do election interference and basically throw the election to Democrats. And I find that point hilarious. Because, hold on. He's actually doing the thing that you guys say you believe in. Maybe he's being a little more lenient with it because his line is 15 weeks. But he's doing the thing you guys say you believe in. This is the kind of abortion politics that you guys like. And now all of a sudden you turn on him. It's almost like there's an admission embedded in there that, we know our ideas are not popular. And if you bring up our ideas in the election, you're throwing the election to our opponents. And it's wow, you have no faith in any of your ideas. If you take virtually any of my policy beliefs and say, I'm going to run on that going into the election, I'll be based. I mean, maybe there's some where I wouldn't because it's not popular. I'm against the death penalty because we kill 4% of the time the wrong people. And that's not a popular position. The death penalty is over 50% in terms of popularity in the country. I wouldn't run on that. I wouldn't run on legalizing all drugs, which is another position that I have. But virtually any other one, Medicare for all, pro-unionization, pro-living wage, pro-ending the wars, I'd be yeah, based, run on that because my preferred politics strategy, campaigning strategy is the same as my preferred policy because those things line up and they're popular. But for him, that's not the case. And again, he has zero allies now. So it's hilarious that he's going out there and doubling down and tripling down. I will say, I don't think he's actively trying to throw the election to Democrats. I don't believe that at all. I think he thought naively this will be something that I'll get credit from the pro-lifers on, which he didn't because they want to be a harder line. And he might even think, I'll get Democratic support on this as well because I'm saying 15 weeks. Well, no. He did have support for when he proposed the 20-week bans. He actually had support. Because now when you get to 20 weeks, 22, 23-ish, then you are talking about viability. And that is a line similar to the Roe versus Wade line. So on that front, he did get some Democratic support. He's not going to get it for 15. He's just not going to get it. So, okay, Lindsey, thank you. Anytime the conversation is abortion, the Democrats are going to be favored. It is the main thing that has pushed voters to get more involved, to register, to be more pro-democratic. Other things helped as well. The IRA had a bunch of good provisions in it. The PACT Act was great for veterans who were exposed to toxic burn pits. The CHIPS Act, there are issues with the CHIPS Act, but the general core of it is let's bring back microchip manufacturing here. That's positive as well. We're currently onshoring jobs, not offshoring them. That's good. There are other things. Student loan debt elimination definitely helped Biden, specifically with young people. His numbers shot through the roof, right? But Roe v. Wade was the biggest one. And he's reminding people, hey, we're anti-abortion, they're pro-abortion, even though his line is a more moderate line than what other people are talking about. And so, it ain't going to work, dog, which is why my advice is keep at it. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.